Alright, so what's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're doing something a little bit different here. We're going to be ranking every single Call of Duty game, all the way from COD 4 Modern Warfare, all the way up until Black Ops Cold War. Now I haven't done this for a good few years, and my list is definitely in dire need of updating. And also we are just about to get into Vanguard, and since we're basically at the end of Cold War, I would say my opinion on that game is pretty much, that's pretty much finalized now. I definitely would say that my opinions have changed in between now and the last time I did this, which I think was around about 2019 or something like that. So it's been a long time. Before we get into today's video, if you are new right here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on doing a ton of Vanguard content when that comes out. I'm also going to be daily uploading for the month of October. I'm going to try and commit to daily uploading for a month. This is something I'm kind of doing for myself and also for you guys. So if you want to see that, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. But without the way, we're just going to get right into it. Now, I just want to say that we are definitely going to have different opinions. There is no way that our lists are going to be identical. So just before we do start talking about all of these different games, I just want to say this is my opinion. So if you want to talk about this stuff, respect my opinion, and I'll show the same respect to you guys. But without the way, let's get into it and let's talk about COD 4 Modern Warfare. Now, obviously there are 3 games before this, COD 1, 2, and 3, but I wouldn't really say any of them kick-started Call of Duty like Modern Warfare did. So I'm going to go ahead and put this at B tier. Now, you might think that's a little bit low, but the main thing to keep in mind is that this is still a very bare-bones game for this day and age. There's only a campaign and multiplayer. There's only 3 kill streaks. There is a limited amount of customization in the game. It is still a very solid game, and it revolutionized, FPS games and just games in general in 2007, but for today's standards, it is quite bare bones, so that's why it's in B tier. I just want to say as well, we are going to be rushing through my opinion here because we literally are talking about 16 separate games, so I just thought I'd mention that. Now we're going to talk about World at War. I didn't play this game that much when it was out, and I haven't really played it much since. But I'm going to also go ahead and put it B tier, but just below Modern Warfare. And the reason I say that is I just think Modern Warfare is better. This game does have zombies, the first iteration of it, but it is very buggy. It is very bare bones, and I wouldn't say COD 4 Modern Warfare and World at War are very similar, but they are sort of similar. I wouldn't take my opinion too seriously on World at War because I haven't played it that much, but I know the campaign's very good. Obviously, it kickstarted zombies, and the multiplayer was pretty decent as well, so that's why it's there. Modern Warfare 2 is in the holy grail for people of Call of Duty games, and most people are probably going to be angry at this, but I'm going to put it at A, and the reason I don't think it's S tier is I think people are blinded by nostalgia with this game. The campaign, sure, was very solid. The Spec Ops, although I don't think it's as good as Modern Warfare 3's Spec Ops, I still think it's very good. But the multiplayer was wildly unbalanced. I mean, imagine if we got this multiplayer nowadays. Yes, the nostalgia would be great, but if we remove nostalgia from the factor, it's just completely unbalanced. It's heavily broken, and there's no way this would pass as a 2021 game. It wouldn't. I'm sorry to say that. Nevertheless, this is a big step up from COD 4 Modern Warfare. It did everything that game did, but better, so I have to respect it for that. Call of Duty Black Ops 1, I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in S tier because I just think this is an amazing game. Now, I don't have that much experience with Black Ops 1 compared to most of these other COD games. I didn't play it too much, but I know for a fact that this is an S tier game. The campaign is just one of the best, if not the best, we have seen in a Call of Duty game. The story with Mason and Reznov and Woods is just so good. The multiplayer with the OG COD points is, it's a great multiplayer. There's not much else to say about that. And I believe this is the first time we saw mastery camos in the sense of the gold camo, which I think you had to prestige for and then save up COD points to get. I might be wrong on that, but this is the first time we saw some kind of mastery camo, and the zombies in this game is really good. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it is still very solid, and once again, it's a step up from World at War. It just did everything that game did, but better, essentially. Modern Warfare 3, I don't care. I'm putting it in S tier. I know people don't like Modern Warfare 3 as much as Modern Warfare 2, but in my mind, Modern Warfare 3 is just a better Modern Warfare 2, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people would say that it's not that original of a game. Like, it's, if you look at the menus and even the guns, it's very similar to Modern Warfare 2. It's just sort of a reskin, but I just think I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just a better version of Modern Warfare 2. Let me ask you this. If you think Modern Warfare 2 is such a good Call of Duty game, what's wrong with a better version of Modern Warfare 2? You know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the same principle with Modern Warfare and Vanguard. Like, those two games are very similar, but is that a bad thing? I don't think so, because Modern Warfare's movement system and all of that stuff is very, very solid. So why would they change it? And that applies here as well for Modern Warfare 3. I will say, though, I might be a little bit biased because this was my first Call of Duty game. I loved this game back in the day. It was just so much fun. Honestly, I loved it. But I don't think it's as bad as people say. I think that's objective, and I would agree that there probably is some nostalgia factoring in this, but I just think it's a great game. Black Ops 2 is obviously S tier. I mean, I don't know what you expected. It continued the Black Ops story in a very captivating way, obviously with the branching storylines. It introduced new characters that were amazing and brought back the old as well. It was just amazing. The multiplayer was just fantastic. The zombies, maybe not as good as Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 3, but it was still good nonetheless. It was a wide spectrum between the best maps of all time and the worst maps of all time. Like, in my mind, you've got Buried, Mob of the Dead, and Origins, which are just some of the best maps in COD history. And then you've also got Die Rise, Transit, which are just poo-poo. Can't believe I actually just said poo-poo. But anyway, let's move on. Now, Call of Duty Ghosts, I don't think it's as bad as people say, but I still think it's going to be in C tier. I think the campaign was quite good, I won't lie. I do think it was an interesting story. I wish it had been continued off that cliffhanger, but hey ho, what are you gonna do? The multiplayer, I do remember being quite BS, to be honest. Things like IEDs, dogs, sliding into the action with Call of Duty Ghost, and leading as well. It was just sort of a douchey multiplayer. The time to kill was very quick, so it made slow play styles a little bit better, I would say, but overall, I don't think it deserves the hate it gets. Extinction, I think, is actually a great innovation for a third mode, but I do see a big glaring problem with it, and that's the replayability. I mean, once you've completed a map, what do you do then? Do you just go back and recomplete it? It's not the same as zombies, where it's like, oh, what round can you get to? Or, you know, how many points can you get? I don't really know. But, you know, with zombies, there's a lot more room for, like, getting like on the leaderboards and stuff, if that makes sense. But with Extinction, it's sort of like once you complete it, it's complete. You don't really do it again. Advanced Warfare, I'm gonna go ahead and put in B tier, but I'm not gonna put it above World at War because I actually really like Advanced Warfare. The campaign story, I think, was really good. I love the characters in that. And obviously, Kevin Spacey's in it. I mean, come on. The multiplayer, I think, this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I really liked it. I mean, I love the fast-paced jetpack action. Yeah, it can be a bit bullshit when, like, you shoot at someone, they, like, you know, skyrocket and then, like, zigzag side to side, and they just, like, stomp on you and shoot your body or whatever the fuck. But I don't know, I just really liked the fast-paced nature of it. The pacing of this game is on the other side of the spectrum compared to, like, Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was just way too slow, but this game is just way too quick. So somewhere in the middle, leaning towards the quicker pace, is perfect. Exo Zombies, I think, is heavily underrated, or I suppose I should say overhated as well. A lot of people really think it's cancer, and there are some trash maps in it, but I think overall it's actually quite fun, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know, I quite enjoyed it. I really love Black Ops 3. Like, Black Ops 3 is one of my favorite COD, if not my favorite COD games of all time. I'm gonna have to put it top A. I mean, I adore Black Ops 3. I would say it's my favorite COD game of all time. I have really fond memories of my friends on there, and you know, the life cycle of this game was one of the best of a COD game, but there's so much wrong with it at the same time. It's hard to ignore it. The main things are the campaign. What went wrong with the campaign track? You made the absolute gems of Black Ops 1, 2, and World at War, and you made Train Go Boom. Like, it sucks. It's so bad. The multiplayer, once again, I think this is a great, the multiplayer. I love the jetpacks in this game. It adds a very tough, what's the word? Learning curve, that's the one. It adds a learning curve to the game and adds a bigger skill gap for the exosuits. I would say they're a lot more skilled and less cancer than Advanced Warfare's, and I think there were improvements. But there was quite a lot wrong with the multiplayer as well. One thing that I think of is the supply drop system. Holy shit, the supply drop system is so bad in this game. It's actually disgusting how they got away with it, and I guess they didn't because they reverted it, but honestly, I can never excuse this game for the supply drop system. It was just so cancerous, so anti-consumer, so malicious, and I'm glad it's never coming back. The zombies in this game is perfect. I do not care. Even Zetsubo no Shima is a good map in my opinion. There's not a single map in this game that is bad. I think Gobblegums are a bit overpowered, sure, but I don't know. I just think there's not been a better zombies game. I don't think any game has come close to Black Ops 3 zombies. And the fact that on PC it has mod support as well for custom maps just makes it even better. And the fact that you can't access that on console is really annoying, but nonetheless, it's just a phenomenal game. Infinite Warfare here, I'm going to go ahead and put in F tier. It's to be expected. I think in my previous one I put it in D tier, or I might have put it in F, I don't remember, but it's just such a bad game. I'm sorry. There's not a lot that I think is excusable. The campaign actually is one of the things that is. The campaign story is actually pretty good. I do remember being quite sad at the end of it. I know a lot of people say that the zombies is actually quite decent, but I despise it. Zombies in Spaceland, I know a lot of people think it's good, but I honestly don't like the whole, bright and colorful, clowns running around aesthetic to zombies. I think it's just so much better, like, mainly with, all of the previous zombies games, actually. I think it's just so much better, like, the darker, grittier, I suppose more realistic tone to it. I think that's just so much better. And the multiplayer to this game was just ass. Like, it was literally just a poor man's Black Ops 3. Everything this game did that copied Black Ops 3, it just did it so much worse. Like, specialists, the jetpack system, those are the two main things that come to mind. And overall, just the whole space theme to the game, I'm glad they did it and tried it out, but it shouldn't be done again. So, yeah, I respect the innovation, but, Modern Warfare Remastered. I'm going to go ahead and put this at A tier. I'm not going to put it with Modern Warfare 2. What is there to say about it? It's just a better COD 4 Modern Warfare. And it added supply drops as well in a very fair system. And it added cosmetics and stuff that were quite relevant to the time. It didn't go too wacky with the cosmetics, and it sort of stayed true to the theme. So I don't think there's much to complain about there. But yeah, I mean, it's Modern Warfare Remastered. What else is there to say? Next up, World War II. I did just yesterday upload a video me revisiting this game. So my opinions on this might fluctuate over the next month or whatever. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put this D tier. I'm going to say D tier, and there's some good reasons for that. The campaign is just a bunch of cliches bundled up into a forgettable cliche, I suppose. I don't remember anything about this campaign at all. It was really boring, and the fact that they depicted one of the most bloodiest violent wars of all time that included most of the world without actually showing that gore, and also not showing more than America versus Germany, is just criminal. I mean, this is a World War II game, and you're showing America versus Germany at basically PG-13, from what I remember anyway, and I don't know, it's just kind of annoying because they could have made a really gritty, realistic story from it, and it just was a sort of cliche, forgettable mess in my opinion. They seem to be rectifying that with Vanguard, which is pretty good, but it doesn't excuse this game. The zombies in this game is god-awful in my opinion. I fucking hate it. I only did play the first map, to be fair, but there is so much bullshit in the menus. Like, there's so much to customize. It's actually overwhelming how much shit there is to look at, and it just pisses me off just looking at it because there's just so much to look at. It's so complicated. It's just god-awful. I don't ever want to play it again. And the multiplayer, I don't think is necessarily that bad. I just don't think it's amazing either, especially compared to the other games. It's not terrible. I would say it's a lot better than I thought it was, but the main thing that stands out to me are two things actually: the maps and the creator class. The creator class is just awful. It's literally the worstest we've ever seen. I'd rather have Pick 10 back. I don't think Pick 10's that bad. I just think it's inferior to the Modern Warfare system. But yeah, I just think the class system in World War II is just terrible in my opinion. But stuff for mastery, they actually did really well. I talked about that in my revisiting World War II video, so go check that out if you haven't already. Now, we're going to move on to Black Ops 4. This game I actually do quite like, but I need to be objective. I need to have some form of objectiveness here. So I'm going to put it top of C here, and like I said, I do really like Black Ops 4. Oh, I wouldn't say really. I do have fond memories of Black Ops 4. but there was quite a lot wrong with it. First off, no campaign. What the fuck? I guess I just gave up after Black Ops 3. Second off, Blackout, which is basically its replacement, I don't think was that great. I wouldn't say it was bad. It's just, basically, Blackout walked so Warzone could run, essentially. So that's the best way to put it. The zombies in this game is very mediocre to bad, really. I mean, I don't know. This is the point where they decide to tailor more towards noobs in the COD games. And this game proves it, because you spawn in with a specialist. You know, you can spawn in with a full auto pistol if you want, or even a shotgun, SMG. There's quite a lot wrong with it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it's probably the worst zombies we've had. And when I say it's the worst zombies, I mean the worst Treyarch zombies. I would say that all the other iterations of zombies are probably below Treyarch. I think they're just sort of in different leagues, because Treyarch knows it the best. But yeah, Black Ops 4 is definitely the worst Treyarch zombies we've had. And the multiplayer, I actually quite like, to be honest. I know a lot of people don't like the specialists and stuff, but I think specialists can actually be quite fun. I didn't really talk about that Black Ops 3 either, but I think specialists can be quite fun. Yeah, you get some bullshit deaths or whatever, and it gives noobs easy and cheap kills, but honestly, I think they can be quite fun, so whatever. Modern Warfare 2019, I'm going to put at the bottom of A. And I know if you guys watch this channel quite a lot, you probably know I do have a strong love for Modern Warfare, but I have to be honest here, there's quite a bit this game did wrong. The overall philosophy on the multiplayer is one of the worst, probably the worst actually, we've seen in COD history. The whole thing about promoting camping is just disgusting. I hate it so much. But there's a lot this thing did right. The improved engine, the overall attention to detail, the gunsmith, making all, DLCs and stuff free. I did recently talk about all my opinions on Modern Warfare. I've got a review on the channel as well, so if you want to know more in depth, go check that out, because I don't really want to talk too much about it. One thing as well, the campaign is phenomenal in this game, probably my favourite, and the Spec Ops is pretty shit. It's very underwhelming, but overall, I think this deserves to be bottom of A, if not top or mid of B. Call of Duty Warzone is a very interesting one, because I do really think Warzone is one of the best things. I think it's actually the best thing that's happened to COD ever. And at the same time, it's also one of the worst because of its effect on multiplayer and this whole, unifying experience with all the COD games. I think we can all just agree that COD was better when it was all separate and a game just released on its own and it could have its own life cycle. But like I said, Warzone is very good. So I'm going to go ahead and put it just above Modern Warfare. I think they deserve to be sort of hand in hand. I do actually think in say 3 to 5 years time, looking at Warzone with 6 or 7 games under its belt with hundreds of weapons, I think it could actually be the best Call of Duty thing ever. But for now, we need to wait and see how it plays out. We need to see how it gets handled to sort of judge it. And finally, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You guys probably know how I feel by now, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it at D. Honestly, I'm going to put it above World War II, actually, but I really do not like Black Ops Cold War. There is quite a lot this game actually does quite good. I mean, the campaign, it tried to do the branching storyline of Black Ops 2, but it just did not work. It literally comes down to 2 decisions, and it was very short as well, but overall, I wouldn't say it was a bad campaign. The zombies is very mediocre in my opinion. It had a complete overhaul, the zombies this year, compared to the previous zombies, and it just made it 10 times easier in my opinion, and it just kind of shallows it down and makes it sort of more boring to play, but at the same time, it can be quite fun as well, so like I said, mediocre. And we also only have 4 maps. This is obviously including Forsaken, which is the next map. 4 maps overall. We got 4 launch maps for Black Ops 4. And we've got that in the entire life cycle of Cold War. That's just mind-boggling to me. And the multiplayer for this game, it does a few things right. I would say the overall philosophy is back to normal with COD, where, fuck camping, essentially. It's a rushes game, but it does the inverse, actually. It makes this game a camp fest, and it's the same as Black Ops 4. Assault rifles, tac rifles, LMGs are all basically the meta. Nobody moves. It's a snooze fest, skill-based matchmaking. This just it all contributes to me the most boring COD experience I've ever had in my entire fucking life. And honestly, if support stops after Season 6, I ain't touching it again. I'm actually hoping support stops. after season 6, because I do not want to touch this game again. I really do not like it. But anyway, that is my complete list for Call of Duty, from Call of Duty 4 all the way to Black Ops Cold War. Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? What games would you put where? I'm very interested to hear what you guys think of all these games. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.